Hello and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review hosted by your favourite religious heretic, Ben from Down Under. And if you haven't figured out what I'm reviewing, it is none other than Heretic, which is a film that is widely talked about right now. It is an A24 psychological thriller, horror, however you'd like to call it, but I'd say it's very much rearing towards the psychological thriller aspect kind of film. It is written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who most people probably aren't familiar with their work. They directed that film a couple of years ago called 65 with Adam Driver, which was not the best, but this film is starring none other than Hugh Grant, as you can see in the back. You've also got Sophie Thatcher, Chloe East, who are fantastic in the film, and it's really sort of focusing on those three people. But if you haven't seen the trailer, I'd recommend going in as blind as possible for this. It's essentially about the two girls in the film are Latter-day Saints, like a Church of Latter-day Saints, and follow obviously the religion, the Book of Mormon, and that religion, and they obviously have been essentially advised that Hugh Grant's character is someone who is somewhat interested in this religion, so they go and knock on the door, and then it plays out. Now, if you've seen the trailer, you kind of get a little bit of the gist of what it's going for, but I would fully recommend, if you're going to see this, know as least as possible. It is, by all rights, a genuinely fantastic movie. I think it clocks in a little bit under 2 hours, and I was sitting there gripped the whole time. The dialogue by the directors, the dialogue, it is riveting dialogue. The whole runway. I usually have an issue with needing to go to the bathroom once or twice during any film, regardless of runtime. Never once did I ever want to leave. The dialogue kept me on the edge of my seat, guessing where it was going. I think this is Hugh Grant's best film in quite some time. Yes, I'm including Paddington 2, disregard that. That's probably his top tier role, but I think it's probably the most interesting role I've seen him in for quite some time. I think he's genuinely fantastic. He has this whimsical charm that he always has in his standard roles, but obviously somewhat of a menacing turn to it, and I think he's riveting to watch here. He really makes it, like, electrifies the screen and emphasizes sort of everything that's on the page, which is a brilliant dialogue and writing across the board. And I think the two girls in the film as well, they are genuinely fantastic. And the dialogue is something that obviously they really delve into religion and belief, and we'll get even the most religious of people talking about it. And that's something that's always interested me. Obviously, religion is a very interesting thing, and beliefs and everyone's different, right? And I think this is a film that will get a lot of people talking in that regard. But I thought everyone here is fantastic. The direction is awesome. It's obviously played in a very tight knit, like, claustrophobic scenario of them obviously locked in this house that they knock on, and I just think this is Hugh Grant's kind of role that I could see him genuinely being in, like, a for your consideration type advertisement come the end of the year in Jan and Feb when we get the Oscars. And I think it is a film that a lot of people will talk about. It's probably a little bit different to your probably standard A24 kind of psychological horror films. It's probably a little bit more, it's not as full on as like a Hereditary or a Midsummer, but in terms of your psychological, it's very A24 in that park. And I think obviously a lot to say about religion and beliefs, and I just think this is a great film that I would recommend to mostly everybody. Obviously, you very more religious people, they might have their views on it and what this film is going to say about that, but overall, I can't recommend this film enough, purely just seeing it from the perspective of Hugh Grant's performance, but just such brilliant dialogue throughout the whole film, and I was gripped the whole time. The main thing for me is the ending. I really enjoyed, and I think it'll get a lot of people talking. However, like, there's one thing that I was like, oh, I don't know about that, but overall, Love this film, had a great time with it, thoroughly enjoyed it. If you have seen it, comment below. If you like our review, give it a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.